The Pokemon franchise is celebrating its 20th anniversary for its launch in Japan. 20 years in Japan, 20 years in America, starting in 1998. So it'll be a while before I do a blowout presentation on our American equivalent. But for now, let's turn to the fan community and look at some weird hacks and bootlegs in the Pokemon world. Previously, I have covered some Pokemon hacks, taking out Pokemon trainers for other Pokemon to be the Pokemon trainers, or gym leaders like Giovanni, Meowth, I believe there might have been Transformers or something. Basically, there's been a lot. I think I did that for the Game Boy 25th anniversary. Anyway, these are some more, and the thing that's crazy about Pokemon hacks is they come in a huge variety. They are a dime a dozen. It would take so long for me to go through just the Pokemon ones. But they range from the avatar hacks that I've mentioned before to script hacks, turning things into basically a sex hunt for Ash to go around, or just weird language and just kind of making the script a little funnier, changing a couple things here and there. But then there are the Pokemon hacks that completely change everything. They take the assets of the Game Boy games or the GBA games, which is pretty much where the community has strewn towards, between those two. And I've actually been seeing a lot pop out for the GBA, more so. Probably hacks and using the assets of Ruby and Sapphire, and then the remakes of Blue and Red, or Green and Red. It's hard to keep track of some of these releases with the Japanese and everything. Anyway, so they take the assets and basically repurpose them and make their own campaigns, using the same avatars but changing the script, changing what Pokemon you start off with. Instead of starting off the game with a fire type, a water type, or a grass type, there's been some that's all dragons or all water types, whatever Pokemon I guess they feel like would be cool to start off the game with. And that's interesting, sure. There's also been cases of creating their own Pokemon, and there's, like I said, there are just too many to go into, and what you're seeing now is a couple examples, and it's just, they're interesting to be sure. They change the difficulty, everything about them, but they're miraculous in that they're teaching people to kind of make games, but an easier way than making your own game. Not to downplay them anyway, but it's a good starter. But, there's nothing like playing the real Pokemon games. And they're great, but the thing that's really drawn my eye is where hackers have put Pikachu in place of Mario and Link. I mean, let's get into some of these bootlegs and other hacks. I mean, Pikachu has appeared in so many different games, and I don't know why. The fascination of avatar changes is just kind of silly, actually, to imagine Pikachu in these roles. Well, look, first here we have Pokemon 2, or I don't know, it's Pokemon 2, there's a 2 over the 2, it's Adventure Island 2. This is a translation to make Pikachu from Master Higgins, which is a little island dweller, into Pokemon riding dinosaurs, and that's basically it. The sprite is very weird looking for Pikachu. He looks a little like he was born as if two Pikachu of the same family had sex with each other, if you understand what I'm getting at. Otherwise, a very basic hack. Or in this case, I should say bootleg, because that's clearly a Chinese ripoff. This next one is of Super Mario Bros. 2, that redo the sprites of Pikachu and some of his other Pokemon friends. Now this one is essentially what it seems. It's just a hack. It's using the sprites from the Pokemon games, the original series, and putting them in Mario 2. You're still doing the exact same stuff, but just the characters are different. This one is kind of just a little bit more cuter and wholesome than some weird Chinese ripoff. But let's move on to another Mario adventure, which is Super Mario 3, or in this case, Pokemon The Legend of Super Pikachu's Pikachu 3. Yeah, that is a weird title. Also weird, they put the sprite in, just like in Mario 2 for Pikachu. They couldn't quite erase Mario, so his hat and ears are still sticking out when you have the tail and the tail sticking out. It is even weirder than the title of the Pokemon Chinese game. But it's still kind of cool to see Pikachu running around this world and with some other redone sprites as well. But it's just very weird that Pokemon is just took the face of Mario essentially, or the invisible body of Mario, or something. It's very weird. Hey, where's that Mario Pokemon crossover, by the way? Let's actually see something like that happen. I mean, it happened with Nobunaga's Ambition, and that series is like unknown in the West virtually. Another thing that comes a dime a dozen is Mario World hacks. This one is Super Pika Land Ultra Chocolate version. There's been some other hacks with the Pokemon stuff, but this one is actually quite good. The sprites look pretty unique, and they redid a lot of the game. A lot of the enemies are Pokemon themselves, and you even transform for Pikachu into Raichu, which I thought was a nice little touch. It is a pretty stunning game. Of course, they're working with the assets of Super Mario World, one of the best looking and essential Super Nintendo games of all time, and this last one is also one of the best video games of all time, and that is The Legend of Zelda, but this is actually using the assets of the BS Zelda, which is the Super Nintendo remake of The Legend of Zelda, turning Ash into the old man, or the old man into Ash, and bestowing Pikachu with an electric bolt sword, and you're going around the world as Pikachu fighting monsters, and it's just cute, kitschy, whatever you want to call it. It is a nice hack nonetheless. But I give you a little bit of taste of the Chinese bootlegs at the beginning, so let's get right back into it. I saved the crazier stuff for last. First up, we have Puckman Pokemon Genie 2000. Oh, that looks like Pikachu riding some kind of lemon drop, or Pac-Man with some Pokemon and some ghosts chasing after him. Very weird. It is exactly as it sounds. It is Pikachu turned into a Pizza Head or Pac-Man, and you're in a maze. That's all I need to say. It is a weird... Next, we have Go Go Go. I'm not exactly sure what the top Chinese lettering is, but it's probably something to do with Pikachu Go Go Go. And this is actually a cute little sprite of Pikachu, I gotta say, heartwarming, as well as the actual in-sprite Pikachu, which is just a fat, chubby Pikachu. Now, I don't know if this is just an original game that they made or they repurposed it. I mean, for the most part, these Chinese bootlegs are repurposed versions or demix of other games. But Pikachu is fighting other Pokemon. It's a platformer. Again, I can't help but fall in love with the fat Pikachu that is on screen. But hey, let's just move on to another bootleg, and it's actually a collection of 4 games. We have Pika Click, Pac-Man, Pika Slot, and Pika Dance, and they are all different versions of some of your favorite iPhone or Android device games. Pika Click is of course a match 3 game, so it's like Candy Crush essentially, with a Pikachu in the corner with some tiles that have nothing to do with Pokemon essentially. They didn't even try to change Pac-Man other than removing the dash, so yes, this is Pac-Man with a more Pikachu looking head and some weird broccoli and sheep monsters chasing him around a maze. Pika Dance is of course DDR, but instead of notes, it's Pokemon going into Pokeballs with some weird rhythm music happening in the background. And last we have Pika Slot, which is a Pokemon slot machine, and it's less offensive than all the other ones. It's just a slot machine. Probably the weirdest one on this whole list is Pocket Monster. Cool Pikachu. I really actually like the pixelated form on this title screen. On screen, it is a weird mess. It's so hard to control Pikachu, and he looks deformed, just like that first bootleg I told you about of Adventure Island. And the monsters are even weirder. I have no idea what this game is that they repurposed, but it is just a maniac's nightmare. A side-scrolling Pokemon game. Can it not get any better than just Pikachu being hacked into a Mario game? Come on, where's the side scroll? Let's make one of those, guys. I mean, they got the basics here with this bootleg, but let's not make it as trashy, please. And where would Pocket Monster be without a sequel? Pocket Monster 2 looks a little bit better and actually tries to actually make the sprites look more like Pokemon, albeit weird discolored versions of themselves, or just monsters that have nothing to do with Pokemon. Pikachu looks a lot better, I should say, but yeah. So there you have it. Just some hacks of the Pokemon games, hacks putting Pikachu into Nintendo games, and just some weird Chinese bootlegs that serve purpose somewhere in the world. And for now, as weird as the community may be at times, let's wish the Pokemon Foundation company, franchise, whatever, a very merry, happy 20th anniversary in Japan.
Boom, ba-jack, boom, boom, ba-jack, boom, ba-jack, boom.